Okay, I think this thing is recording. Hello, my name is Warren Reed. I work for Sanctuary, and I am a superpowered individual. My powers consist of immortality and invincibility. Through rigorous testing, we discovered that they were different. My immortality comes from a halt in my DNA, a piece of it called telomeres. They halted their usual process when I was at the age of 28. I stopped aging in 1432. There is potential that I was the first superpowered person, but there are too many blacked out records to be certain. We are still uncertain what causes my invincibility, but it is an optional power for the most part. I can switch it off when I need to have blood samples or run tests when I'm sick. I have had many tests run on me. I was able to withstand a lowest of 4 Kelvin and highest of 2 billion. We had an electromagnetic round shot at Mach 5 at me, and it bent on impact. And I was fine. I have willingly been bitten by every venomous creature and have consumed every poisonous and toxic plant on our planet. While initially suffering from the effects, my body creates antibodies to break them down at a pace beyond biological comprehension. Each time the pain from the experiences sent me into a coma for extended periods, from a couple of days to months. No one understands why I can sense pain when my body isn't being harmed. My nerves are in perfect condition each and every time. This recording is meant to act as a preservation of myself and a look into the most beloved people in society, our superheroes. Specifically, one of them. This will also be a look behind the heavy curtains our company, Sanctuary, holds up with almost indestructible rods. Almost. You won't know me. I don't have a working name. I don't go out and save people. No, I try to save superheroes. Or their minds, at least. I work as a psychologist at Sanctuary, helping each hero through their trauma and troubles daily. They are just like any other normal human. The mind is the most vulnerable part of all, including myself. Sorry. My job has been damage control for the last 100 years, preventing any heroes from breaking and going on a rampage, holding them back from ending their lives or their families. I haven't always succeeded. you may see stories of our heroes tragically dying, killed by villains, their families being targeted as well. That's never the case. In fact, there have been so few superpowered villains that we have to make those stories up most of the time to sell whatever is coming up. The majority that have existed were superheroes. Well, that's what we call them. I failed them, I know that. And rather than getting help and support, we vilified them, scrubbed them from our records, and made them the target of hate. A long time ago, I was a founding member of Sanctuary, although only in the last few years I was forced to step down and take a back seat due to internal power struggles. This is all to bring you up to date. I feared I may not be allowed to exist outside of Sanctuary's walls, to be scrubbed from history by them if events went forward as I thought they would. I suppose they tried and failed to control us. For the last 10 years, there has been one hero on the tip of everyone's tongue. Solar. The most powerful, incredible hero of all time. And it's true. They are the most powerful and incredible. I'm still unsure about the hero part. Take my abilities and add super strength, speed, and flying, and you have the one and only Solar. 6 months ago, I was shocked when I saw my appointments. I had an entire day cleared to spend with them. It's not the first time I had to spend an entire day with a hero, but I had not only never treated Solar before, I'd never talked to them. They had a surprising interest in me. I was expecting the usual type of hero personality. Cocky, ego-driven, blunt, demanding, and just needy overall. But they were unusual. Somewhat shy, hardly an ego behind them. They were modest, they knew what they were capable of, and never over-exaggerated or even really upped themselves about what they could do. They were always checking if things were okay and they weren't stepping over a line. They found a common interest in our shared immortality. We are the only two in existence. It was admittedly refreshing talking to a nice person for once. Everyone here is just either under the desk trying to climb their way up, or the one sitting in the chair. There's no good people here. Every week we had multiple sessions. After a few weeks we went out for We went out for a couple of dates. Initially, just food breaks, but the time we were out got longer and later at night. It is highly against company policy, and not to mention how dangerous it is for a highly renowned hero to be out in public, even in disguise. After these dates, I had to come clean and say that I couldn't, in goodwill or professional courtesy, be their psychologist anymore. Biases and emotions would come into play, and I don't want that to cloud my judgment. That was the first break I saw. That was the same night broadcasts were cut around the world. Solar accidentally killed a civilian on live TV. I had to talk to them. I was the only one they wanted to talk to. Apparently their mind was in such a mess when I told them we couldn't have our sessions anymore. I didn't say I wanted to stop seeing them. In fact, I did it so I could spend more time with them. I blamed myself. I didn't approach it properly and inadvertently let my emotions cause this. I spent the night holding them, hushing them, comforting them, eventually falling asleep within each other's arms. There were press conferences, meetings, and every type of PR nightmare imaginable for the next few weeks. I spent my spare time helping them and guiding them through everything. Eventually, they opened up about what happened. I never pushed Solar to tell me. I only knew about their emotional state when it happened. The civilian had been in a large crash on a highway, a 12-car lineup. A truck lost control and crossed the road, crashing into most vehicles before stopping. I need more water. There weren't many survivors, but the one Solar pulled out, the one they killed, apparently Solar had them safe, supporting them by the back of their neck with one hand and holding them up with the other. But after getting a better look at them and recognizing a familiarity, their grip tightened and Solar crushed the civilian's neck within their hand. Apparently the civilian bore a horrific similarity to me. Solar said it was like an adrenaline spike, a muscle twitch. And that's all it took. Scared that it was me who was involved. If it was, yeah, I wouldn't have died. The twitch might have broken my neck, but I would have lived and recovered. But the fear that fills me, knowing that this could happen with any hero to any innocent person. We spent more time together, both out of care for each other, and my fear something like this can happen again. When I wasn't working, I monitored them as much as I could. Eventually, Solar caught on. We talked about it, argued about it. They believed I was spying on them out of distrust, a lack of loyalty. I tried reasoning with Solar, but it ended with them flying out through the roof and heading somewhere no one knew. Too fast for our tracking to stay on them. We didn't see them for days. I couldn't sleep. I was so worried about what happened to them. I felt guilt, sadness, anger. Solar didn't go back to Sanctuary. No. I heard my doorbell ring at my private home. Solar was dressed in their civilian clothes, and they looked just as tired as me. Solar claimed they'd gone back home for a couple of days. And that was the most surprising thing I'd heard in a long time. We never had history on them, just their powers and names, no origins. Solar walked up to Sanctuary in rags one day and asked to join. They ran the tests and, well, here we are. Solar stated that they went into a small hut they had in the mid-north of Canada's wilderness. Raised by wild parents and slightly tamed beasts. Solar outlived them. All of them. And just stayed there. They don't know how long passed, but one day they got up and left. It could have been a few years, decades, maybe even centuries. Fucking mind. Either way, their speech is modern, yet we still can't age them. I haven't asked. I won't ask. It's not good to think back. You can only go forwards. I was told all of this with the promise of never making a record of it, or telling another soul. I guess I've broken that promise. Things calmed down for a little while after that night. Another week together before reporting back to Sanctuary. It was nice, despite the repercussions. I saw a different side of Solar when we went back. I was going to be reprimanded, punished by the higher-ups. Soul stood up for me, ready to fight them for me. It was admittedly scary seeing that flare, but heartwarming and comforting all the same. I was relatively free to do whatever I liked since. And 2 days ago now, the CEO, June Sunder, called us both to her office. I don't know what she tried to do. I can't understand what she planned to achieve. Was it a power play? A punishment? She told us that we can't see each other anymore, or our fucking contracts are void, income removed, and every asset we have destroyed or deleted. I can't defend myself through strength or anything like that, so if they were to imprison me, that would be that end of the road. Sola just stared at her, not saying anything. I tried to understand the situation. What happened to cause this, or what her issue was. All I got was some premeditated PR answers. When she stood up to open the door for us, to remove us from her room, Sola split her in two. June had stolen my position at Sanctuary, taken my role, income, turned my company against me, made it a money-hoarding corporation, and then tried destroying the only real relationship I have had in centuries. Because of the rules she made. And you know what? I still wouldn't have wished that upon her. Severed hip from waist, flailing around like a fish, screaming while losing all of her blood. I was just standing, looking. Sola she embraced me, held my face, turned my gaze. And even with that, we had the most passionate kiss. Sola so gently took me by the hand and led me out of there. I was in a daze, the world half in focus. Yet I still noticed it. When we were leaving, there weren't any guards, workers, or even many other heroes at Sanctuary. It was dead. Sola told me to go home, wash the blood off me, pack my things and be ready to leave. The news broke of June's death yesterday. The complete, utter destruction of Sanctuary, alongside it, reduced to its foundations. Our heroes scattered. Workers had lost their memories. and the security's all missing. I don't know what is happening. I don't want to know anymore. I just want to know where Solar is. I don't even know how I feel. Am I in love, or is it Stockholm Syndrome? Held captive by the most powerful being in existence, at their mercy at every moment? I care for them. I guess that's what matters. I'm recording this so I'm not forgotten, and so someone other than myself knows a more true Solar, even if it all ends up being lies or just a fraction of the story. I was never a public figure, never a hero. I don't know what Solar wants to do with me, whether I'm going to be killed somehow, or live a happy life with them. I'll be hiding this under a loose tile in the city's botanical garden. Some curious soul or worker will discover it. Do or don't report it. You may not get a chance. My name has no credibility, no legacy. Solar saw to that. You only have this old man's words. Good luck surviving what is to come. Warren Reed, signing off.